So I love this plant. I've really struggled with it. I am a big fan of textured leaves, and this definitely is a textured leaf. Hang on, there's one of those leaf sheath things. I'm not gonna be able to focus until I peel it off. Hi, I'm Michaela and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm just going to be reviewing my 2022 plant wish list and showing you the plants that I acquired off of that list, and then talking about my 2023 plant wish list. And I don't need any more plants. These are just, if I wanted to buy some plants, this is probably what I would go for, but I'm not like actively seeking them out and trying to check off as many as possible. That's just not where I'm at in my plant journey. I have a lot of plants. I'm really happy with my collection, and I have plenty of plant stuff to be doing all the time. So I'm not just trying to get as many of them as possible anymore. That was kind of what everyone was doing there for a while, but I think a lot of us have kind of backed off. But these are just some cool plants, and yeah, I'll start showing you plants now. Okay, so on my last year's wish list, I had an Anthurium Ace of Spades, and I did not end up getting that one. Those are, I believe, still pretty expensive and kind of harder to find. And I didn't want to spend the money, especially on something that would be a little bit harder to justify the cost of. Like, I wouldn't be able to propagate it as easily and sell to kind of make up some of that cost. So that's kind of why I've kind of backed off of buying anthuriums, but I do love them, but that's kind of why. And I do have a plant shop, so that's kind of why I do that. And these are kind of wish list plants for the shop as well, like things I would like to be able to sell. The next one is an Anthurium altiveripescens, and that was one that I saw in a YouTube video and I loved it. I thought it was so cool, and then I forgot about it a few weeks later and I just never sought it out. So I guess I didn't really want that plant. So it's good to kind of just take a step back and think about it for a while rather than just going off of your snap judgment, because turns out I didn't really want that plant that much. It is very cool, and yeah, just I don't need it, bottom line. The next one is the Homolomina rubescens variegated, and that is a beautiful plant. That is one that I would still really love to have, but they are kind of hard to find and really expensive if you do find them, but they are so beautiful. Maybe one day if the prices go down and I find a good one, but for right now, probably not. I will enjoy looking at them in pictures. The next one was the Homolomina Sumatra featherleaf, and I still think that's a very beautiful plant. However, I am kind of backing off the Homolomina thing. So last year I was really into the Homolominas. I thought they were so cool, and they are if you have the time to take care of them and make sure that they are well watered every second of every day. But if you miss a watering, forget it. Like, just one watering, miss one watering, and they will never forgive you. Or maybe they will, but it's gonna take a while. So I'm kind of moving away from plants like that. I want a plant that will forgive me if I forget to water it. I'm a notorious underwaterer. I have so many plants that sometimes I'll go through and do all my watering and I'll just miss one. So if that's a Homolomina, it's not gonna work. So I do think they're really pretty. I really like them. They don't do well out in my greenhouse for whatever reason. I put them out there and they die like a week later, so I have to keep them inside. And I don't take as good of care of the plants inside my house for some reason. I take a lot better care of plants in my greenhouse than I do the ones in here. So that's kind of why I'm staying away from Homalomena. And then the last one that I did not get is the Syngonium Red Spot Tricolor. I would still actually really like to have one of those. They're still pretty expensive though, so haven't really felt the need to spend that on that plant. I found one in a plant purge on Facebook last year and I really wanted to get it, but I thought about it too long, so someone else swooped in and scooped it up. What did I say? Someone scooped in and swooped it up. Someone else bought it. Yeah. Okay, so now for the more fun part, I'm gonna show you the plants that I did get off of my wish list. So the first one, and I've struggled with this one, but that is my Hoya Clemenciorum. It's still trying to focus on me. No, it's got the plant now. So I love this plant. I've really struggled with it. I've gotten one leaf out of this plant this year. And when I was bringing this in here, I did notice that we're getting a little tiny new one. And oh, there's another little growth point there too. So hopefully this will kind of turn the corner for me. But I have had this in a cabinet where a lot of my Hoyas are not growing very well, so I'm thinking we may have some flat mites in there, but I'm kind of keeping those all separated until I get a chance to treat them for that. So this one is on the list. I would love to have a really large, beautiful specimen of this plant, but we're working on it. But look at this leaf. This is just so cool. So I'm very happy with this one, even though I can't get it to grow. Okay, so the next one, also a Hoya, also kind of the same situation, and I think it is the flat mite. I have it in the flat mite cabinet, which is my Fabricor. So everything in there, I try not to take it out, except for today apparently, and I don't move stuff around until I can get around to treating those. So maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Maybe I'll do it today. I don't know why I've been putting it off, but I've been putting it off. Oh, I think it's because you have to use sulfur, and I'm afraid that it's going to smell really bad, and I just don't do well with gross smells, so I'll have to probably leave the house, and that'll be that. So that's why I've been putting it off. So the next one was the Hoya Sarawak, and I bought this a year ago. I've talked about this a lot, how it'll put out these little tiny leaves and I'll get all excited thinking we're gonna get a leaf, and then it falls off. So even this one up at the top here, it's turning yellow and about to fall off. So I think we're definitely dealing with a pest that I can't see. So if I can get this to grow, I think it'll be a really cool plant. This is such a cute little leaf shape. I would like to see this grow. So I'll keep you posted on what I end up doing with those two. Okay, so the next plant that was on my wish list last year that I did acquire is the Lobesia Turtleback. And I love this plant. Aroid Market sent me this plant in a box of plants, and I'll see if I can find my reaction on there, because I was truly shocked. I was expecting leaves like this, not like the size of my head, but hasn't really grown a ton. I did get this leaf here. I'm keeping it in my Mills bow, so maybe I'll try moving it somewhere and see what it does. But I am actually very happy with the size that it is currently. I think this is a really cool plant. I am a big fan of textured leaves, and this definitely is a textured leaf. Okay, so the next plant is the Monstera dubia, and I feel like I talk about this plant all the time now that I've gotten it to shingle. and I've gotten 3 leaves. So my friend Kenna gave me this plant, and I think she maybe was struggling with it, and then I continued to struggle with it for like 6 months, and then finally, like at the beginning of winter, I got it to do this because I put it on a pole. So that's why it wasn't shingling. It had nothing to shingle on. So I really would like to see this get really big. So if you watch Wild Fern, she has a really cool Monstera dubia. So that is my goal for this little gal. Maybe, yeah, I hope that we can get it to grow that big, but we will see. For now, I think this is still really cute. So I'm so happy to have acquired this. I wonder how it would do out in the greenhouse. I'm getting distracted by it. So yeah, this is my Monstera dubia. Okay, so the next one, I'm really excited to have this plant, and you guys probably saw me unbox this one. Hang on, there's one of those leaf sheath things. I'm not gonna be able to focus until I peel it off. Okay, here, there we go. So this is my philodendron serpens, and I unboxed this in maybe October, but this is such a cool plant. It's definitely cooler in person, and this texture it's so weird. Like I don't know how to describe it. And even the backs of the leaves are really cool. They're like kind of reddish. It's not showing that well on camera, but they're really cool too. So if you have been looking for a philodendron serpens or trying to decide if you want one or not, I would say go for it because they're so much cooler in person, and I love this plant. I have it here in my Mills bow, and hopefully I'll be able to get it to grow even bigger this year. It's not that big right now. And we do have a new leaf, but it's kind of having a little bit of trouble unfurling. So yeah, that is my philodendron serpens. Okay, so the last one is the philodendron Florida Beauty. And this plant has gotten pretty big. It's kind of been one of those things where I have to really keep an eye on it to keep it from reverting or being too variegated. So I'm gonna take this out in the greenhouse and repot it and deal with it out there, I think. But this stem is doing that every other leaf thing. So I got one solid variegated leaf and then one green leaf. So I'm hoping, it really needs to be repotted. I'm hoping this next leaf that's coming in will be variegated, but this is a really cool plant, and the prices are kind of coming down on these, so that's cool. Hopefully more people will be able to find them. And then here's this leaf. I think this variegation is so pretty, and I haven't had issues with it browning or anything either. On a lot of variegated plants, I feel like I would have by now, and it's kind of a yellowy color. It's like that Aurea type of variegation. This is the oldest leaf. It's kind of a little moldy, but I still have the leaf, which is very cool. When I bought it, it was just this one leaf. It was a one leaf cutting. I don't know how much I paid for it, but this is really, I think I bought that at the beginning of the year too, because it shipped in the winter and I was really nervous about it. So this is about a year of growth on this plant. Okay, so my 2023 plant wish list. Number one on that list, I talk about it all the time. You probably know what I'm about to say if you watch my channel, and that is the Monstera Aurea. I am on the hunt for one of those. If I buy any of these plants, it is probably going to be that one. I just can't get over my variegated Monsteras. My Thai constellation here, I look at it every day. I've had it for probably a little over a year, and I'm still just as excited about it as I was when I got it. Or maybe not that excited, but it's probably better that I'm not, because I was like shrieking and whatnot whenever I traded for that plant. I get so excited about plants, you know? So I don't actually shriek every day when I come look at this plant, thank goodness. I'm sure my dogs would love that. And then I'm obsessed with my Albo still. I think I bought it 2 years ago. 2 years ago? I bought it in 2020. I still love it just as much. I've taken a ton of cuttings, and I still absolutely love that plant. So the Monstera aurea is something that I feel comfortable making a bigger investment in, because I know that I will just always love that plant. That's just how I feel about variegated Monsteras. They are absolutely worth the hype if you're thinking about it. Some people may disagree with me, but I don't care. It's completely a matter of opinion. I love them. So yeah, Monstera aurea, hopefully this year. The next one, a lot of these are really pretty similar. The next one is a variegated philodendron bipennifolium, and I saw one of these somewhere a couple of years ago. I think it was online, and I thought it was so cool. I'm a big fan of philodendron bipennifolium. They are really, really underrated. I don't know why people don't love them as much as I do, but I think they're really one of the coolest leaf shapes. I mean, people really like the UPI and the 69686, but I think the bipennifolium is way cooler. So than both of those, and it's much more affordable. So I don't know why people are sleeping on that, but a variegated one, that would be like a dream for me. So I would really like to find one of those this year if they're not too terribly expensive. Okay, the next one, I think these are a little bit easier to come by, so I'm probably not gonna like have to hunt this down, but I've just been kind of seeing these around, and I think they're really cool, and I think it would just look nice with all my other plants, and that's the Philodendron Summer Glory. I think, what is it a hybrid of? I'll have to look it up and put it on the screen, but it's a hybrid of a Gloriosum and something, and it's really like an interesting color, and it's got kind of the Gloriosum leaf shape, but it's not velvety, and it's kind of like a reddish tint, but it's really cool. Another one I would like to find is a variegated Scindapsus Jade Satin. I love the Jade Satin. I think it's really pretty. Whenever I've tried to sell them on Etsy, they really just don't sell. So I'm just keeping the mother plant for myself, and I'm just gonna enjoy it and see how big I can get it to be. So, but a variegated one, it's kind of the same thing with the bipennifolium. I like the green version so much that how could I not like the variegated version? It would just be a really fun addition to my collection, I think. And I'm sorry if you can hear my dogs barking. They're out in the yard because they couldn't keep themselves together while I was trying to film. They wanted to be in here licking the camera and knocking over plants and stuff. It's nice outside, so they both just got a ton of energy. They just want to play all day, but I've got stuff to do. I can't just play with them all day, so they have to be outside where they can't guilt me into playing with them. But I am gonna play with them. Like, I'm not one of those people who doesn't pay attention to my dogs. If you know me at all, that's probably painfully obvious, but yeah. Okay, so the next one is also a little bit more common plant, and that's the Hoya imbricata. I think it's just a really cool plant. It's kind of like a shingling Hoya, but it also like folds in on itself kind of, and it looks like a taco. And I love tacos, so I think that it would be cool to have a plant that looks like a taco. I don't know. I must have written this when I was hungry or something. Written this list. But yeah, they're really cute. I would try to get it to shingle, but also try to keep some tacos on there. I wonder what that would do for my taco consumption. Okay, so the next one is the Philodendron Domesticum variegated. And yeah, that's one I've been kind of looking at for a while, and I thought a while back that I had ordered one, but I ordered a gigantium, and turns out they're very different. So I'm putting it back on my wish list. I can't find the receipt, so I don't know if I ordered it and got the wrong thing or if I confused the two in my head. I'm thinking it's probably the second one, but I meant what I wanted to get was the Domesticum, but what I did get was the gigantium, which I also love. It's actually one of the plants that I go and look at first in the greenhouse whenever I go out there. So it's a really cool plant too, but it's a different thing. So yeah, and it's also kind of got that like big variegated philodendron leaf thing, kind of like a Jose Bueno type of vibe, but different. They're very different, but in my head they have a similar vibe, and I love Philodendron Jose Bueno. It's one of my favorites for sure. So this is like buying another Jose Bueno but not having to. Speaking of that, I added another one to this list in my head this morning, and that's the Philodendron Texas Jose, I think it's called. But it's like kind of a Jose Bueno, but it's not. It's different, but it's similar. And I feel like I need one because it's just different enough that I feel like I need to add it to my collection. But there's a local shop who maybe has one or are trying to grow some. I don't know, but I saw it on their Facebook this morning. I'm like, I think I need one. Okay, the next one is the same thing. The theme of this wish list is I've figured out what I like in a plant, and I want to get more of that rather than try more variety. I'm sticking with what I know and kind of expanding on it a little bit. So the next one is the variegated Philodendron Melanochrysum. I've just been in love with my Philodendron Melanochrysum this year, and I know people are kind of getting away from them, or allegedly they are. The price has gone down a lot. Like when I first got into collecting plants, that was the it thing, was Philodendron Melanochrysum. But anyway, mine still has smaller leaves, but I am getting it to size up slightly. But it's just been one of the plants that I have enjoyed the most the whole time I've had it. So I would like to buy a variegated one. And that's the thing, like the price has gone down a lot and people say that no one likes them anymore. But every time I list one of those on Etsy, and I don't list them very expensive anymore, they're the first thing to sell. So I think people still do really love them. I don't see how you couldn't, but I know they're hard to size up. So if you're trying to get something that will size up quickly and easily, Melanochrysum is not that, but it is still a very beautiful plant. Okay, so the next one is kind of a little bit of an outlier here, and that is the Discorea Discolor. I don't know how I would do with that plant. I've never owned anything like that. In my head, based on looking at it, I feel like it would behave like a Piper, which are okay. I'm okay with those, not great though. So I probably won't seek that one out. If it finds me, that'll be cool, but something about that plant looks like I would kill it really quickly. So, but they're so beautiful though. If I could care for it well and keep it, I would love to have it, but if not, that's okay. I'm happy looking at pictures of it. Okay, so that is it for me today. I feel like I've been talking for a very long time, so I'm kind of tired. I don't do a lot of talking day to day. I talk a little bit to the plants, but I'm out of the habit of talking. I'm out of the habit of filming. So this has been thoroughly exhausting for me. So with that, I will be ending this video. And thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. let me know what is on your 2023 plant wish list. And if you got any cool wish list plants last year, I would be very interested to know. So that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe and follow me on Instagram at Queen City Tropicals, and I will see you again soon.